her going home in the storm and then not making it home, and so close. She's really close to her phone. So yeah, we feel terrible for the family.
A Sunday night trip to her son's house may have cost a Stutsman County woman her life. For nearly 2 days, 63-year-old Sonia Heinley has been missing. Valley News Team's Joshua Pagaro was there as dive crews found her vehicle submerged. In this exclusive interview, the sheriff shares how close she was to home.
The search may be over for a missing Stutsman County woman, but it's not the outcome many hoped for.
When she went home, when she left her son's place, the weather was not very good. It was blowing hard, snow, so the conditions weren't great, and she misjudged her driveway and drove into the slough.
Sonia Heinley's vehicle was located by a dive team submerged in water. Law enforcement shut down the road to her house near the town of Buchanan. Stutsman County Sheriff Chad Kaiser says his team spent all of Monday and Tuesday searching for her. Members of the community even volunteered, but they caught a big break in the search Tuesday morning.
The wind blew free some of the snow on the ice. We were able to see some tracks that were found.
Family and friends tell us Heinley was an employee at the state hospital in Jamestown. She was described as a kind-hearted person who had a strong faith and loved her family. Kaiser says on that fateful Sunday night, she was returning home from her son's house, who only lived 2 miles away.
I feel real bad for the family, for what had happened, being so close to home.
Although they located the car, the work is far from done.
It takes some time. Of course, with this weather, we'll need to use divers to go down and hook up to it and then pull it out.
Dive crews are also checking if the car doors were opened. In Buchanan, Joshua Pagaro, Valley News Live.
The sheriff says the cold is also impacting the equipment that crews have been using during this search. Your commute home should have been a little easier than this morning's drive to work. Earlier today, slick roads played a role in several crashes in the FM area, like this rollover by I-29 and 13th Avenue South. Right now, road conditions are looking pretty good. These are images from the Department of Transportation's cameras along I-29 and I-94. Visibility appears to be fine. As far as the temperatures, that's another story altogether, as the mercury is well below freezing. Hutch has ventured outdoors and joins us with our no-wait weather planner for this Tuesday. Hutch?
Hey, I got to tell you, outdoors it is cold out here, and in the 5 o'clock, if you joined us, we were doing a little bit of laundry. We stuffed this Valley News Live t-shirt in some fresh water just to see what happened to it, and hard as metal. You know, you take the shirt and break the shirt. It's that cold, so don't put your laundry out tonight. In fact, the water pan that we used to soak that is freezing up already. That's amazing. Something else when it gets a little cold is the old flesh on metal. Mike, I've reminded you time and time again, never ever lick a telephone pole or a metal pole outside, because this can happen. It's cold. You put that moisture on there, it freezes to the metal, and then we got to take you to the emergency room to get your tongue repaired. Here's a look at our temperatures. Tonight, we're between 5 and 15 below zero across the valley, and we're expecting wind chills tonight to be between 40 and 50 below as we set your hour-by-hour forecast in motion. By morning, some of us could be challenging record low temperatures here in the valley. Those records between 21 and 24 below for Grand Forks and Fargo. We'll have hour-by-hour details on that. We'll talk about some snow and warmer air here in just a few moments. For now, back inside to you, but not before I throw up some hot water in this chilly air. Ready? Here we go.
Oh, it's cold out. Thanks, Hutch. Anytime you have questions about the weather, the answers are at our fingertips. If you want to know what the weather will be like for tailgating before this weekend's Bison game, or simply what to wear tomorrow, just open the Valley News Live Storm Team weather app. It'll help you keep up with the weather anytime, anywhere. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store and download it for free. An electrical malfunction caught the attention of firefighters at the American Legion in Moorhead. They got the call around 1:30 to head for 30th Street North. There was a light haze caused by a tripped breaker. There was no damage. A train and a pickup truck collided in Foston, Minnesota today. It happened at the intersection of U.S. Highway 2 and 360th Avenue Southeast. Polk County deputies say no one was hurt in the crash. The train and pickup suffered only minor damage. Morning commuters on the 12th Avenue North Bridge in Fargo had some travel trouble this morning. Several vehicles were smashed in a matter of just 20 minutes. When we asked the city of Fargo about the lack of sand and salt on the slippery road, they told us it's not a permanent solution, adding that the cold temps will cause it to freeze over again. Experts are urging you to be extra careful when using every bridge on your daily commute.
Created like a frost with the cold temperatures, freezing pavement, air movement underneath, little sun came out, any moisture.
Is to avoid slamming on your brakes. Instead, pump them. New information about a deadly hit and run in Grand Forks. An FBI crime lab has determined that the vehicle that killed Christina Melvin was most likely a white 2003 to 2015 Nissan Murano. Melvin was hit on April 7th near I-29 and Demers Avenue. And officers believe the crash happened between 4:45 and 4:59 that morning. A $5,000 reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the driver. You can submit your tip online or call 701-787-8004. A North Dakota man is lucky to be alive after being trapped inside a grain bin for over an hour. It happened Sunday afternoon in Lankin, North Dakota, where the man was submerged in over 15,000 bushels of corn, breathing only through his teeth until he was finally rescued.
Then once they found him, it was still crucial too, because there was still corn that could come down and bury him a second time. So it was so intense through the whole thing.
Over 50 first responders from around the area rushed to the scene, breaking the bin open with a backhoe and carefully shoveling through the grain. Rescuers say that the man only suffered a dislocated shoulder and so far is doing well. Funeral arrangements have been set for the Minnesota National Guardsman and Perham native man killed in a Black Hawk helicopter crash. The funeral for Charlie Nord will be at Perham High School Monday morning at 11. Visitation will be Sunday and before the funeral on Monday. Nord and two other people died when the helicopter crashed in Kimball earlier this month. He leaves behind a young daughter and his wife. Tonight on Valley News Live 10 at 10, join us. We talked to some of Nord's family members about the legacy that he will leave behind. Some Fargo families can breathe a little easier now. All Fargo Public Schools student lunch debts that have been sent to collections since July have been paid off. In September, local bands and businesses worked together to host what was called Lunch Aid. That raised just shy of $20,000 to help FM area families. Law enforcement are spending their spare time today giving back to the community. Deputies and police officers are set up at 20 kettle sites throughout the Fargo-Moorhead area, ringing Salvation Army bells. Every year, off-duty law enforcement officials, they compete with realtors and off-duty firefighters. Which group will have the full day of bell ringing?
It's hard to beat both those groups, but as law enforcement, when we get out here, we have a fun time and interact with people. Really, it's all about giving something back to your communities.
The competition results from this year's ringing will be next Wednesday, December 18th. And of course, all of the funds raised are going to go to the Salvation Army. An organization that helps local women transform their lives has an extra $10,000 to work with. AT&T donated the money to the YWCA Cass Clay Education and Employment Program. The program helps women in need by giving them access to employment resources, childcare, and education. We have a correction to a story that ran last night suggesting that a local rescue shelter would have to euthanize healthy animals to deal with overcrowding. That information is not correct. Cat's Cradle says that they will not be euthanizing animals. The shelter is currently housing more than 220 cats. That's up nearly 100 from last year and is looking for fosters. Cat's Cradle and other shelters in the Tri-City area are approaching 8 years without euthanizing any healthy animals. Later on Valley News Live at 6, staying on top of the ice. Some key advice before you or someone you know move that ice house.
And record lows are in the 20s below, and that's where we should start our day tomorrow as the coldest of the chilly air arrives overnight. Here's a look at how we started today out in the teens below and a slow warm up. Your forecast is straight ahead.